What's up? Jeff got up to dance. That song gets us every time. What's up, Facebook fam, YouTube fam, QSC fam? Welcome to another edition of the DJ Discussion Play Out Loud. From home, from studio, wherever we are on this beautiful Wednesday. In Texas, it's still warm. Jeff had his shirt off, so in Jersey, it must still be warm as well. But we're having fun today. We're missing our man Jordan Marshall. He got his second COVID vaccine yesterday, so he's not feeling his best today, but Jordan, we definitely miss you. But we got a new face to the group today, and I want to introduce you. One of my guys here on the LaForce Entertainment team. Some of you in the DJ world probably know him from his Instagram posts, but welcome to the QSE stage, Justin the DJ. Justin, if you want to just kind of let us know who you are, where you're from, a little bit about your background in DJing, and we'll keep moving.
For sure, man. Started DJing about 10 or so years ago when I was going to school. I went to school up at UNT here in Dallas, and just doing that when I was going to school, earning some money here and there. Started doing some events with LaForce eventually. Just been rocking weddings, rocking events, and just having fun. It's been great.
Yeah, I see you got a new turntable set up back there. If you guys follow,
just got it not too long ago. Yeah, I'm super excited about that.
So if you don't follow Justin, if you don't follow him on Mixcloud, Justin, tell everybody where they can find you on the social webs.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you can just type in Justin the DJ on everything, and you'll just find me.
Perfect, and that's your handle right there, Justin.
Yeah, that one's on Instagram. It really depends on what platform, because some platforms don't like the period, some like the underscore, all that kind of stuff. So it's just Justin the DJ wherever.
Perfect.
No one likes the period.
No,
nobody.
hate it.
It's tough. It's tough. And then, of course, we got our man down there on the bottom of our screen representing Jersey in the SE event group. Jeff, what's going on, my man?
What's up? So that intro song, you think it's going to be on the new Bruno Mars album? Like, that's like the interlude. Sounds like a little funk soul. I didn't know. Did you have like the early, you got the early release, like the white label?
Oh, I didn't. I'm out of the loop here. Send it my way, Jeff. Send it my way. Text it, whatever you got.
That's what I thought. The intro song we played in the beginning.
Yeah,
like, it's got that.
It's got that definite vibe. Always gets me hype. I don't know what it is. Every time we start the show, it's like I forget how awesome that track is. I think Brad said somebody at QSC produced that and put that together for us. So it's a pretty sweet run. But
of course they did.
We're just going to reset the room, guys. We're checking in. It's the DJ Discussion here live on Facebook and YouTube. My name is DJ Nate Nelson. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I've got my man Justin, the DJ, with me today, and JSG, Jeff Scott Gould, the most amplified. Justin and Jeff are probably the same height. You guys have been in the same room together before, right? Are you guys about the same size?
I don't
Vegas?
know.
I'm pretty sure. Y'all have been together.
Maybe. I'm sure.
What are y'all both? 5'2", 5'3"?
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
I got hair envy of you guys.
Way to call us out.
Hey,
all right.
I'm a tall man, so when I see I'm not calling you little people. It's just you guys are half my size and weight. So, guys, today we're gonna chat all things DJ discussion. We're gonna talk a little bit about social media, capturing content. In my opinion, I've got two of the top content creators that I know in the DJ industry right here on this show with us today. So bringing Justin in. Justin does a lot of our media and our content here at LaForce, and he has a phenomenal Instagram. So if you guys haven't checked it out, check that out. We'll throw that in the chat so you guys can find his Instagram. But Jeff is like the brains behind the SCE content creation. And so I definitely want to talk a little bit about like our tools, some of our ideas and concepts of things that we're doing, and obviously just trying to level up and change the perspective of what people see. I think that as a DJ, we don't have a tangible product that we can bring to you and sell. We have something that you have to be able to look at. You have to look at videos, photos to make your decision based off of what we've done in the past. And that's the best way for us to showcase what we do. So Jeff, I'm going to start with you. Like, what is the number one thing you look for going into an event? Do you have like a production schedule of things that you want to shoot at that event, photo-wise, video-wise, and how do you put together the team? And I really kind of want to talk a little bit about compensation. Like, do you have someone that's doing multiple jobs that's shooting for you at an event, or are they just specifically there to capture content?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely kind of know. In terms of services, I think that's the easiest thing. In your contract what you're bringing. So when you know what you're bringing and you know the room that you're working in, I think that kind of makes it easier. Like, all right, we want to capture this, this, and this. Because obviously everything that we capture at SEE, we use as tools to sell to future couples, future clients. We kind of pride ourselves on that, and it's nice to tell a client that, yeah, with stuff that we always shoot, like we're not professionals. I think we take some cool stuff, and I think no matter what we shoot or what you shoot, everything should represent your brand. So I think that's the easiest thing. The second thing is like when I'm looking at music, like playlists, and I'm like, everyone knows, like as DJs like Justin, Nate, you guys know that there's songs that just work, songs that get people comfortable, the songs like, that lets the older, the younger, the in between, the left side, the right side, like just kind of get comfortable with each other on the dance floor. But then when you get playlists, you're like, when you're like, oh, cool, there's some like new jams I didn't get to play, and so for us, when we're shooting media, I definitely try and capture something or create something with that new song so it makes the highlight reel. So when you're putting out content, it's not like, it's not like, okay, I'm going to hear like the same 6 or 7 songs in a different venue. You know what I mean? And for me, when I'm capturing content, I never think of like what other DJs are going to think of. I think that's super important. I think we get inside our heads that like, I want to, I think if you're doing the right thing, you're going to get respected in the industry. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm always trying to capture content for the couples, for the next client. Like that's my angle. That's my goal. I'm not trying to do it so, I get 65 DJs. Like, I mean, I obviously, like, I love, like, I always hype up your stuff, and we always, comment on our stuff and support each other. But I think the goal is, it depends what you're trying to use it for. I try and do it for the clients. So like,
it's definitely a marketing tool.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said,
so I try and capture it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brad, can you bring in Jeff's Instagram for me real quick? I've got that shared, so we can just kind of talk and go through some of the stuff that Jeff posts personally, and then we can look at the SEE page as well. See if Brad can drag that in. Bradley, are you back there producing the show? But there it is. So as you guys see, like, just first off, Jeff's got photos of clients. He's got photos of brides. He's got, like, on this photo here, that's cryo. That's something that you guys want to see. So like, when we're posting things, if a client comes to you and looks at your Instagram, which if you guys don't think that clients are actually researching you on Instagram, you're wrong. They are 100% stalking you. They want to know all about you. They want to see, the type of events you're doing. They want to see your personal life. They want to see who you are. So you should definitely showcase a little bit of personal and business on your Instagram, in my opinion, so that people can kind of get a feel for who you are and kind of what you're doing. Jeff does a really good job of that, of showcasing his energy. Like, I love your photos that you take with the entire crowd at an event. I love that you're able to go in and you have some phenomenal video. This grandma post right here, dude. This post right here was phenomenal. I had a grandma. Justin, you remember the wedding you were with me at, where the grandma came up and did the same thing? Like, when you have someone come up like that, like, how, like, did you guys already have a camera rolling, or was that like, hey, Bird, grab this now, like, this is a moment?
So Bird shoots all my photography, and obviously Bird's like a talented DJ as well. So Bird, like, talk about multiple roles. He does a bunch of different stuff, great with lighting. But like, I think it's good when you have someone in your camp that does a bunch of stuff. I think it makes the night go faster, as opposed to, hey, this is your role, this is all you do. So we always are doing a bunch of things. This event, I did have another guy shooting with me. What I've been trying to do lately is I try and find one event that I like per weekend and have like a full video guy come out. So we'll do like a whole vlog. He'll shoot whatever, and I'll tell him like, hey, I want to do this and this. And
now, is that a member of the SEE team, or are you finding someone separately?
Yeah, well, they're separately, but now part of the SEE team. Like, we're always trying to, bring people in, and if they're not working with me, work with somebody else. But that grandma video in particular, I mean, I don't post as many personal things on here as I do like my stories. I'm trying to do more, but I feel my style of DJing is very much like me. Like what I did to grandma, I would probably do at the gym. You know what I mean? It's like, so when people get that, I think my stage show is kind of the same almost as me. Obviously a little more polished and, certain stuff you wouldn't say behind the scenes that would you do in front of a crowd. But that grandmother worked out. Her niece come up and she's literally said like, I forget her name, like, grandma so-and-so, she doesn't know how you're making the music go. That's exactly what she said. And I said, oh, hi. I'm like, well, I'm going to show you. Will you do the next song? She was like, oh no. I just want to see it. I'm like, no, we're doing this. I literally just stopped the music and I just, whatever you heard on there, I just, diary of the mouth, just blah, 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 just whatever I said and and just did it. And it's creating a moment. I mean, like I think it's cool when you can find moments that are not just bride and groom, when you can bring other people into the family. Like, I think that's awesome, because grandmothers, I mean, when they do, like, I don't know if you see, I've seen grandmothers now are flower girls. They like making it like they have like the little fanny patch, and they're walking out and they're like, choo, choo, choo. You know what I mean? I had another grandmother that was like,
actually.
yeah, right, dude. Like, you see some crazy. So anyway, that's kind of like my angle is, we definitely know what's going to happen, I think, ahead of time. But I will say, going into events, when you are trying to shoot a lot of content, it's always good to figure out ways that you can use the content, whether it's a good party or a tough party. For example, Nate, you could, like you talking about the party in the beginning. Hey, it's Nate Nelson. We're at so-and-so. We got this going on. So if it was a rough party and you have just good dance patches, it's your voice and you can just lay some stuff in. It's a dope video because you're showing your personality. Or if the bride and groom's not too hammered, or the bride and bride, or the groom and groom, if they didn't have too many cocktails and you get like a testimonial from them, it's the same thing. Oh my God, Nate was so great. Justin was the bomb, blah, blah, blah. And then you just put those little pieces in, so like I'm always trying to shoot as if it's going to be a banger and just in case, you know what I mean? Like, think like you always want to think about how you can do that. And just, you don't know how, in my head, there's parties I went, I'm like, yo, we're going to tear the roof off. And it was like a tougher party. Yep. And then there's the unexpected ones where like they don't book anything and they're just like
ragers.
So like that, I think
you're not praying to the DJ gods, Jeff.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw Nick's video last week, but you got to pray to the DJ gods, and you don't say it's going to be a banging party before the party happens.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this photo that we've got here, the one of the bride and groom. You've got Dancing on the Clouds. You've got Cold Sparks. What I love about this picture is that no one on your team is seen. You guys stepped out of the moment. That's something that we teach at our, here at LaForce, is like, if you're ever in the background and photographers shooting towards special moments, we just step off to the side, get out of the way. Like the song's not going to stop. Your technology, your gear's good. Just let it go. Get out of the way. Let those moments happen. I love the groomsmen faces over there as you see the sparks are going off. Like, there's so many different things that I look at in this photo. It's a dope photo, but also it shows like your clients that are looking at you, they can say, oh, hey, we want Dancing on the Cloud. We want Cold Sparks. We want that cool, whatever that booth is called, the classic, what is that booth called?
Stereo T.
The Stereo T, yeah, that booth. Like, and I know you guys have different furniture. So this is a way for you to upsell your clients on different aspects as well, but also show a moment that client's going to love. And that's just a dope ass photo.
Yeah, you know what, too, Nate? Like, I always consider, I mean, as corny as this may sound, my setup is like part of the crew. Like 1,000,000%. If you ask photographers or video people, they will consciously shoot away from your gear if it's gonna like jack up the photo or make it look like dog shit. You know what I mean? So you want to be able to like, I think when you have a pretty setup, like a photographer's like, I can't find a bad place to shoot. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna be in it regardless, because the photographer's got to show photos. If that's a crappy setup, I mean, they have to shoot a certain way for sparks. You know what I mean? So this is a live shot with this one, so like I'm actually DJing, sparks going off. She's like, But like, but yeah, I mean, like your furniture is part of your crew. I no, there's no other way to say it.
100% agree. And a lot of times photographers are just quick to go and say, hey, we're going to shoot. Can we have the toaster stand over here on this side? Because we don't want your stuff in the background. You should consciously think about those things when you're putting yourself into a position where you're staging yourself, how you're staging things, and what your setup looks like. And we always talk about, you see the great DJ setups, the bad DJ setups, those groups that are on Facebook. But there's like, if you go in and you see these, like the video Joe Bunn made of like the horrible cable management, all those things, like that just looks bad on you as a professional. It looks bad on the photos. Like, one thing I teach to my guys is that there is always someone watching, no matter when you think they're not. There's always someone listening. There's always cameras. Someone's got a cell phone. Like, with the digital age of like people filming and doing things at all times, you're always in the background of different things. And so creating that, you have to create that backdrop. Just like if you had a photo booth company, you want to put a backdrop behind that photo that's being taken. Well, everything that you're setting up and bringing into an event is the backdrop as well.
Yeah, and Bird is like, we have a checks and balances too, because Bird, like, sometimes I get that, like, you know, we have something going on and I'm trying to think 9 steps ahead. And then he's like, you know, he'll come up like, he's like, Bird's like, you got that shit in your pants face, you know, like smile, you know, like whatever. Cause like sometimes you catch yourself, you know, like you're in the mix and you're like, okay, this doesn't work. Gonna go that way. I got this cake coming up. We got to do the, you know, like, so sometimes your expression is exactly what your brain's doing. And, you know, like we're always trying to tell ourselves, especially like, you know, Bird's really good with that. When I'm doing out there emceeing intros, and there's parents' dances or whatever, like, you know, or we're doing 19 songs for like the bridal party. You know, Bird's the same thing. Like he's smiling because he knows he can't get out of the pictures, you know? So like, we're really conscious of that. Cause we've seen some pictures, you know, some like Janai has this one dope picture and there's this young dude that was working on there and he's running the lights and he's into the lights, but he literally looks like he's fighting with his girlfriend in text messages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can't do anything with it. As much as you blur it out, the guy still just has this like face, you know, there's only so much like depth of field you could do before like it looks like, you know, but yeah, those are important because they can like blow a whole picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's,
Just got to Photoshop a smile on his face. That's all you got to do.
yeah. What's up, Chris? Hi.
Yeah, we're gonna reset the room real quick, guys. It's DJ discussion live here today. We're talking about content, Instagram, how we're capturing content at our events. And Chris, hi. I know that your son just purchased a media kit from Alex Nepa. I saw posted
that.
his stuff, and Dawson got it. So maybe if Dawson's not in junior algebra right now, he could join in and listen and get some tips. But what up to Chris High? What up, Rico Stills? What up to Edison checking in from Venezuela? Guys, I want to talk something that's new and kind of on the trend of right now. So we all know TikTok has been super, super popular, and Instagram has incorporated a thing called Reels. And Justin, I feel like, has had a lot of success with Reels and working on different kinds of things with Reels. And so, like, this is my favorite, Justin. Like, literally, I love. Is there no audio to this?
There is. You click the audio button. On your screen, right there at the bottom, right there.
Oh yeah, boom.
He might not have
that?
audio on.
Yeah,
on the
probably
other
on sharing.
But everyone can check it out this way.
Yeah.
It's good. Tease him with it. You guys.
Yeah, you guys should
check
check these things out. So Justin's Reels, you know, Reels are something that can catch fire, you know, differently. That one is, I love it. I think it's great because it relates to us in the DJ world, but it didn't do very well on Instagram. It only had like 4,300 views, whereas some of his other stuff has 36,000, 100,000.
Only 4,300 views.
Yeah, only well, like this one has 102,000. Like,
Bro, I know. It's just so funny. Isn't this for perspective? Isn't that crazy? Justin's
Yes.
like, yeah, I only got like 3,000 views. I'd be like, you're kidding me? I'd be having sex with myself in the corner if I get 3,000 views on something.
So Justin, talk to us a little bit about Reels and your creativity. Like, you know, I know we can't hear, but you guys can definitely go check these out. But like, you brought your dog into the mix to do some stuff. And Jeff, I know you'll love this because you're a dog lover. But like bringing in different style of Reels of things that people want to watch. And, you know, Justin's had a really good job of capturing people's attention and keeping people on there. And Justin, what are some things you've found like as tips for guys as they're working on Reels and working on things on Instagram to post to gain their following? And tell me a little bit about the growth that you've had in followers since you've kind of dove into Reels.
Well, when it comes to Reels or just Instagram in general, like Instagram themselves have said that like they're gonna switch their game plan of how they're giving content to the people on Instagram. They're going the TikTok route. Like photos are still going to be a big part of their platform, but they've seen how crazy TikTok has gotten in the last couple of years, and they're really trying to compete with that. So they're really, you know, when people are making Reels, they're taking them seriously, and they are, I guess, I don't want to say they're blowing them up for you, but like, they're doing well. When you post
and
a
it's
reel,
crazy that
a lot
this
of people
reel,
see it.
Justin, has 100,000 views, and it's like 10 seconds of just a time lapse of your setup. Like,
Yeah, and honestly, I almost didn't post that as a reel either. I almost just put it as a story. And I remember I think I showed you, Nate. I was all like, check this video out I got at my event, and you're all like, you should put it as a reel. I was like, okay.
yeah. And Jeff, you know, you talk about doing some vlogs and things like that. And I do want to talk tech and things that you can do on your phones to, you know, up your media game, especially with the new iPhone 13 Pro. If you guys have that, the camera quality is insane. Like literally blows my mind from someone that, you know, shoots with the Sony A7 II. Like the camera quality on this new iPhone is insane, and you can do some really cool things with it. There's an app that Justin turned me on to actually that's called Spark Camera. And Spark Camera is a great app that you can literally edit and shoot and change things and speed up and all the things you need to do to make a really good reel. You can make something for stories. You can do a lot of those different things to kind of just capture different moments throughout your event, like Jeff said. So like, hey, what's up? It's Nate. I'm here. I'm at the Adolphus Hotel. Today we got, you know, Rico and Chris getting married tonight, yada, yada. Stay tuned for the highlights. That's typically what I do on my stories. But you could go and do this specifically through this Spark Camera and just film each moment, and it just holds it and creates kind of a timeline for you throughout that, just like stories. Then you can go back and edit it and post it as a reel or post it as a story later. Justin, talk to me a little bit about your experience with Spark Camera and some things that you like, and maybe some tips that you could share with some people. And it is an app you have to pay for. I think I paid like $40 for the year for it, but it's well worth the money if you're trying to level up your content game.
Yeah, it's a great app. I've been using that for a while. I first started using it mainly for stories. I would do like these little mashups of my event. Like if I had a really cool event, I would go and I would just film a couple shots of some of the stuff that was going on. And then after the event, I'd spend like 10, 20 minutes maybe just cutting the footage down to like the best parts that I got. And then just making like a really quick like story length mashup video of how the wedding went, and just threw it up on the stories. And
I think that was the really first time we talked about you putting some of those things on reels, because you were always doing them on stories, and I'm like, Justin, these are phenomenal. These are great quality videos that you're making. You're putting on stories. The problem with stories is that people get 24 hours to see it. So if they're off of Instagram for a while, they don't see it, like it's gone. The beauty of reels is that reels can stay forever. And if it's something that's popular, like you can see it do 10,000 views in one day, and then the next day it blow up and do 50,000 views. So,
exactly.
It can keep pushing, and Instagram's going to look at the algorithm of like, how long are people staying on your videos? And I think that's like how TikTok is. If people can stay the first couple of seconds, then they'll push it out to 200 more people and see how they react to it. And then, I wish we all could understand the algorithms of how they do these things and we could figure it out, but I don't think anybody's cracked that code yet. But Justin, you've done a phenomenal job of capturing media and images. And, I wanted to bring you on today just so you could share some of your expertise on that, because I look up to you in that. It's something I strive to do. Both of you guys are like game changers in the media game as far as DJs go.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to capturing some of the content that you get, you got to think about who's going to look at it. Like, who is going to look at it? Who do you want to look at it? And, who do you want to gain something from it? Because just posting a selfie on your feed, what's that going to do? Like like every piece of content that you post has to bring some sort of thing to
value.
The person.
Yeah.
Some sort of value to the people viewing it, whether it's to entertain them, whether it's to inform them, whether it's to, create engagement or create some sort of call to action. If you're just posting a story, or if you're posting a selfie and just saying, hi, Instagram, like, okay, cool. Maybe you'll get a couple likes or so like that. But if you're posting like something super entertaining, like recording a mix, or like if you get a really cool shot at your wedding with the cold sparks and all that kind of stuff, you're showing your clients what you can offer and what you can bring to their events as well. So I think the most important part for sure is bringing some sort of value for your people seeing your stuff. So
talk about, Jeff, you use a lot of these. Talk about hashtags, because Justin, for me, there's been times where I've seen your photo just looking through, Pioneer DJs hashtags, or looking through other hashtags that I follow. When you go to explore on Instagram, you can see like the trending photos on there. So talk about hashtags and some things that you've used that, are you using the same hashtags all the time? Are you switching hashtags up? Are you getting business? Are you getting clients and couples from hashtags? Because I started using a lot of, like, when we talk about things that we want people to see, we want people to do. If I'm posting a really cool picture of my setup from a wedding or a dance party or something like that, I'm tagging Brides of Dallas. I'm tagging Dallas Brides. I'm tagging Dallas Wedding DJ. The things that people may search for when looking for a DJ within my area. So, Jeff, I don't know. I want you to talk on this too. Like, what are you using hashtag wise, and are you getting a ton of traffic from Instagram to book you specifically?
I mean, for hashtags, sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm crappy with it. I know there's a couple of hashtags that we always use for tracking. I like to use there's one I use for me because I just think when I get done with this, I just want to go back and see my history of what I did. There's one that we always like for the venue. We always push. If there's a service in there, I always push it. For me, the way I come up with my hashtags is the hashtags are based at me looking at the video or the picture itself. Like the most basic is like what's in there. Like I'll push sparks. Like I'll say sparks fly or, like above the clouds or something that doesn't have 90 million where you get lost in the sauce. Something that's a little closer. I also
like using hashtag DJ and be like, yeah, good luck with that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I still use it though. Like I do.
No, of course. Yeah. But I mean, and then sometimes I use the one I've been using a lot is like how I weekend.
That's cool.
Like stuff like that. And then I have these long hashtags where I'm just making fun of myself just to see if people read them. So I think it's kind of fun when people like, bro, where do you come up with this stuff? I'm like, I don't know. It's in my head. So I figured I'd make it a hashtag. But yeah, there's some we do for tracking and I don't really do probably the amount of homework I should do on hashtags, but I definitely book events off of Instagram. I mean, the biggest travel event I ever did to Ireland, they found me on Instagram. And one couple, the girl was in Atlanta and the groom was in New York. And the girl from Atlanta found me. So
crazy.
From Instagram. I don't even know how I got, it was the weirdest, craziest thing. I didn't even know how I was even available like that. I was available to even go on a weekend. But that was from Instagram. You
Justin,
know what I mean?
What's your experience with hashtags?
The most important thing, just like with your content, is that your hashtags need to make sense for your content. So not only does your content need to make sense for your audience, your hashtags should also correlate to what you're posting. So if you're posting, like a really cool wedding photo, put some hashtags that pertain to the cold sparks or the dancing on the cloud, all that kind of stuff. Of course, just like Jeff said, to shy away from 20 million posts worth of hashtags, I wouldn't even bother. Honestly, don't even waste your time. But also stay away from some of the hashtags that have 100 or 1,000 maybe. You definitely want to find that nice little middle ground where you have maybe 500,000 to 5 million posts on that hashtag. That means people are actually looking at it. People are actually use those hashtags, and whenever they're posting content that pertains to DJing or your wedding events or your stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Hey,
those
Justin,
hashtags are relevant.
Justin, do you when you're tagging people in your post, do you put for me example, if I'm wearing an outfit, I'll tag literally everything I'm wearing. Sometimes if I know I'm feeling the picture, I'll tag Indochino, I'll tag Zara, I'll tag Nike, I'll tag whatever. And I mean, through some of that, I've gotten some free stuff. I didn't know. Do you tag any brand stuff at all?
I will tag I won't go that far, my outfit or anything like that. But I'll tag maybe a brand. I'll tag Rain. If I have a photo of my Rain mixer, I'll tag Rain or Pioneer or Odyssey cases or QSC or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
For directly that you can even see the logo or something like that, or
correct, yep.
What kind of mixer is that? Oh, it's this. Oh, well, here's the tag for
right,
it.
Yeah,
and they're that.
Right. That I mean, those are great for rebranding because if it's a dope shot, Rain will repost it somewhere,
exactly.
and
Exactly.
that's just good exposure. And I mean I think that's great street cred in terms of our industry stuff too. But you never know if that opens you up to a corporate event.
For sure.
This guy's style, this guy's look, and and other corporate people are following corporate brands. So that's always been my angle. I started just posting I'll post Shure, the microphone. If something's cool happening with the microphone, I'll post Shure on it. I'm using the Canon.
Jeff, you're also your photo of the Dancing on the Cloud that we posted and showed a minute ago. You tagged Taylor Swift, and like, imagine if
Wasn't
Taylor
she the
Swift
song?
reshares that. Yeah, for Lover, like that was the first dance song or whatever.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, I like that you tagged her because I mean, especially if she retags you, she reposts you. She's got millions of followers, and that's another way for
she
exposure.
she does random shit. Like she's showed up at New Jersey weddings, but the reason I did it in that one because that bride was like huge Taylor Swift fan. So I don't know if that bride, like if she checks everything. So again, it's just another way to like, you know, like if she does that, it might be an extra share for me, which turns to an extra event. But yeah, I think it's a cool, different way to try and do stuff. Like I've tagged my I have like an interesting motorcycle with a sidecar. It's a Russian brand, so I'm always tagging them, and they've kind of reposted it because like, you know, and I ended up using it in the Bose booth. I made a DJ booth out of it for the DJ Expo. You know, so they like shared it and stuff like that. And like for me, I'm trying to maybe that picture of DJing with that motorcycle gets me into something else that's not wedding. You know,
Right.
so just another tip. I don't know like where it goes. I mean, I've gotten
The
some
next
free
thing you
stuff
know, you're
from
going to
it.
get a call and say, "Hey, we want your motorcycle and your sidecar DJ booth. Come DJ this for us." Like, no, seriously. Like,
Yeah,
those
you
are
know,
different
no,
ideas.
you're
That's
right,
thinking
yeah.
outside the box, and you're
sure.
posting it. Like, if you don't post it and people can't see it, people don't know you can do it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you got to look at it that way when it comes to content. So like if you're not posting the things that you offer within your company, you're doing a disservice to yourself and your company about what you have to offer. So like keep that in mind when it goes. Talking about tagging people, just remember if you do have QSC gear and you're using them at your events, make sure you use the hashtag QSC Audio, or you can tag at QSC Audio on Instagram, and they always reshare photos. So if you're looking to get some exposure that way and you're using QSC gear, post your photos there, and the team over at QSC will make sure that they reshare that for you guys as well. So I do want to kind of jump over to a different topic. We've only got a few minutes left. I want to talk about today's modern bride. And I'm not talking about the brides and grooms that are in their 30s and 40s that we have. I'm talking about the 22 to 27-year-old bride and groom. And I've seen a big transition of tastes and wants and feels that bride and grooms want at their wedding. They don't want the stereotypical wedding cliche songs. They want club bangers. They want festival type music. There is a changing of the tide in music I see coming forward. And I know a lot of people in the industry have talked about this, about older DJs still playing a lot of the older stuff, but I want to get kind of your take, Jeff and Justin, on what you guys are seeing on the new modern bride, different trends that are happening to the younger brides that we're seeing come into our world, and just kind of chat about that for a second. Because I had a wedding where I played Excision 2 weeks ago. And if you don't know what Excision Throwing Elbows is, it's like, you should look that track up, because I played that at a wedding and I was like, what? Like, it was so much fun. So I'm actually posting the mix to that wedding this weekend. So it'll be dope. But Jeff, what have you seen? Anything new, crazy? Like, I mean, I know I'm not the only one. I've talked to a lot of guys that see like a change in the tide of like music and the way weddings are kind of going. They're not so traditional anymore. They're way outside the box.
That's what I was gonna say. Like we have like our couples now where so much of the tradition is, you know, gone. Which I'm actually okay with. Honestly, if I never see a cake again, I'll be super excited. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm like over any kind of cake cutting. Like now, if they want to toss anything, like I'm like try and just do the flowers only. I try not to do any of that. Introductions now, we're getting a lot of like, everyone's coming in as a crew. Like, I mean, we still get, you know, I mean,
Can I give you
go ahead.
a crazy thing that I've never heard of about coming in with the crew? So Peter, you met him in Milwaukee. He was one of my camera guys. Peter's wedding was in LA, and Mike Villa DJ'd his wedding. And the photographer actually told them that they should do this. So Mike Villa introduced Peter and Courtney as Mr. and Mrs. Krita, and they came in, and then the wedding party came in behind them as a posse. So it was like the way that they entered, it was bride and groom and like wedding party coming in behind them as a full whole, and it just amplified the energy in the room. The photos turned out phenomenal. So if you're getting those brides and grooms that are thinking about, we don't want to introduce the whole wedding party, it takes forever, people don't pay attention, and it's kind of like, we just want to get on with the show, right? Talk to them about doing something like that, because the photos that you get from that is really cool. And it's like, your bride and groom
dude,
coming
I'm
in
ready-
with their posse behind them, you know?
I'm ready seeing that video, 120 frames, slowing it down, that,
Yes,
like that.
just
badass,
walking in like, yo,
Yep.
we
Yep.
here. Like, that's amazing. So,
Yeah, so I mean, like that, like I just had a wedding where we had it choreographed where not there was a flash mob, but the wedding party are at their respective tables. As we're getting ready to introduce the bride and groom, like they all came out and formed or whatever. So like a lot of for me, and I mean the music, yes, that's a given, which I'm super happy about. I'm so glad that people have 9 or 10 music apps that they're listening to, no matter what age they are. Because I'm getting people in their 60s coming up and asking, you look at someone and you're like, oh shit, here comes that request, and then
Yep.
they give you like something else. You're like, where did you come from? And I love you. You know what I mean? So like for sure, the fact that people are getting it from like all sides, like I love that. But for me, it's like way less formalities and more like we just want to party. We just want to party. We just want to party, and I'm all about it. So. I think that's the kind of fun part, but music for sure. I mean, it's nice. I mean, every party's a little different. I get crowds that, they're into Drake and they're into Frank Sinatra at the same time, but like whatever. It's just glad that like the, you're playing a lot wider as opposed to just so narrow.
all right, talk to me real quick. Way Too Sexy, wedding banger or no?
Hell yes.
And do you play like a lot of it, or do you just play like that first intro hook and get out of it? Because it's a repetitive song. It's way too long.
So if I'm doing like the OG, it's quicker. I have it like with a house beat. Like it'll go a little longer, and then I just got another one that Can't Hold Us is the backbeat of it.
Okay.
So it depends on what mashup or mix I'm using, but it definitely whatever.
And have
it's
you been
laps,
playing
pop, or whatever?
I'm Too Sexy before it and then going to it?
Yeah, I have like a
that song's
transition
back
edit.
as well. Yeah, I have a transition edit as well, and it works great.
It does, but yes, for sure.
But I think that it is a banger. I think people love the beginning of it, but I think it's just so long. People let it play too long. I've been to like bars and stuff where it's just like, okay, I'm over it after 30 seconds. And I think that's something that we should all, talk about as well. We've had these conversations before with Jordan and Dylan, where we talked about, attention spans on a dance floor. If you're not
We're
quick
so
mixing,
ADD. The Northeast is so ADD. Oh my
if you're not
God,
quick
it's-
mixing, you're way far behind. Like you got to be in and out of songs and on to the next one because it is the attention span world is gone with TikTok
But I
and
am
Reels
too.
and all these things.
I mean, I'm okay.
Me too.
I'm okay with it. Like
Yeah.
I'm okay with like.
I mean, I find
weddings.
myself skipping songs in the car. Like, no, I love this song. Okay, cool.
I'm over it.
Right,
Yep.
Yep. No, I get it. Right. Yeah. I mean, like I like quick mixing. I mean, weddings to me are greatest hits. So just like it's fun, and that's why I love mixing live, dude. We get so many I get probably as many compliments for our downtime music as we do our dance floor music. When you can see a bride when you're doing like those acoustic whatever or mashups or remixes, blends, whatever you want to call it, and they're like, dog, I get to play like all that like bedrock and like the 2000s, like different like Benny and the Jets with like a hip hop beat, like stuff like that. Like I love shit like that.
Hell yeah. My wife is exactly the same way. She just said, "That's me. Ask Nate. I always change the channel." And I'm like, like for real, like I'll just be waiting. Like you can't skip the Luda part, like I always just like, no, we're on to the next one. Like she is so ADD when it comes to music. But I think that just shows like generationally, like we want to hear the part we want to hear. And I think Jeff, you summed it up perfectly that a wedding is greatest hits. Like if you can play like the best part of the best songs and just keep rolling and keep it moving, like you're going to have a rager of a party because you're not stale, you're not stagnant, you're not the push play DJ that's starting it here, letting the whole thing go and then fading out, fading back into the next song. Like you can't ever elevate the energy when you're letting songs continue to go because it's just like with anything. The attention span of America is awful, and it's not just the youth; it's all of us. So crazy. We got a few more minutes, guys. Let's talk about, I guess, our current state. We haven't been on in a while and talked about. I know, Jeff, you guys have been absolutely insane up north with reschedules. October is our busiest season of the year here in Dallas for us, and so I've got like 15 events this month. Justin, you probably in the 10 to 12 this month. We're pretty much all working Thursday to Sunday. Jeff, what do you got coming up this weekend?
I have Thursday through Sunday. I think I have 23 this month for in October. 23 events. Yeah, so it's it's a blessing. It's great. It's great to know that getting through it. But yeah,
we all getting Christmas presents from Jeff this year.
I know. And you get a present. You get a present. And you get a present. You get a present. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's awesome. It's a crazy schedule. Today, just to let you know, I had a bride hit me up. She's like, "Oh my God, can you send me those pictures?" Totally sent her the entire wrong wedding to her text her. The whole thing. Like literally, dude, like I'm like burnt out because I'm like, oh yeah. It was literally this past weekend. And she's like, oh, can you send me that, whatever, blah. And she's like, Jeff, that's great, but this is so-and-so from like the venue. And I'm like, I go, oh, I'm like, oh shit, ha. I'm like just trying to catch up. I'm like, you want some more from another wedding or do you want yours? Just shot, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
So,
the burnout is true. It's real.
But it's good, I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. Justin, what do you got this weekend?
I got Thursday through Saturday, just kind of all over town, really.
Yeah, Justin was all over last weekend. He had back-to-back event. Now, Jeff, let me ask you this question because I already talked to Justin about this, and he was like, "Yeah, kind of messed up, but I don't want my shit getting stolen." So he was at the same venue Friday night as he was Saturday night, and this venue is what, an hour and 25 minutes away? About that?
Like that,
It's
yeah.
way up there. So he struck everything Friday night, loaded his car, drove all the way back, and then drove back Saturday and set it all up again. That's what I said. I was like, I would have left my shit set up. I would have taken my laptop. I would have taken, put the lid on my controller or whatever and bounced. And he's like, yeah, but there really is. It's out in the middle of nowhere. There's no, main security. I'm sure they have cameras and stuff like that. But, that's a topic of conversation that I'd love to do another time of, if you're ever in those situations, what do you do?
Well, I think if it's a sketchy place, I would probably do what you did, but I also would probably be staying in a hotel 2 minutes away. If I know I'm working the same place, if I didn't trust it, I mean, I don't know if it's better having your equipment in a hotel parking lot as opposed to inside a venue, but I probably would do that. If I felt like, it's a little sketchy, I'll go to a Hilton that has an actual.
Yeah, but there's no hotel. This is in the middle
nothing.
of the
It's literally
sticks.
middle
This
of
place
nowhere.
is in the middle of nowhere. It's like that. Yo, Dylan Weissman checking in. Our old host. Dylan, we hope you're good, man. We miss you. We miss your face.
But I probably would roll the dice and leave it, just because because I guess the way you look at it is I have backup equipment. If I went there and stolen, they would get a much smaller system. But the biggest thing is I'll take a bullet for my laptop, but the gear I can go to Guitar Center and I guess purchase in 10 minutes
I think my biggest concern was the fact that we were slammed, especially on Saturday, LaForce. We don't even have enough speakers for some of our new DJs, let alone barely enough for our current events, right? And, having an event an hour and a half away. So I get there when the event starts 3 hours or so. So let's say I show up, all my stuff's stolen. I'm like, all right, call warehouse. Yeah, we got gear. We'll be there in 2 hours. But
right.
Then you got to set it up.
Then I have to set it up. I don't want to deal with that. I mean, it's just I just
definitely
didn't wanna
better
deal
safe
with
than
it.
sorry,
I'd rather,
for sure.
I'd rather pack it up, spend an extra
Yeah.
30 minutes packing up, and then
Yeah.
All
I
good.
would have
Yeah.
done the leave it there, find a hotel as close to the venue as possible, just because I'm also thinking 3 hours of my life going back to the same venue, twice,
Yeah.
That's, so sometimes it's, that's a good way to do it. But you weren't wrong. I mean, of course, our equipment's our babies, I get it.
Sure. Well, I actually don't have a Thursday event this week. I try not to work Thursdays because I got to work. We always talk about that work-life balance and staying up to where we want to go. Rico, the 12.2s will be back in stock hopefully by the end of the year. They're getting 10,000 a month, I hear, and they've got a lot of orders. So stay tuned. Just check in with your dealers and things like that on when they're getting them. They're steadily coming out, but not in stock currently.
Yo, quick question for you, Justin. On any of the apps you're using now for video, are they? I haven't seen any apps yet that have Apple's allowed them to use the cinema mode yet. So have you tried? Do you have the new iPhone?
I still have the 12. I'm just gonna wait
okay.
until I guess the 14 maybe.
So this is the
13
problem
plus.
now. Because I love the cinema mode so much, I'm recording just the video itself and then moving it over to whatever else, just because you can't get that same look.
Yep.
So like when I'm shooting this, now I'm shooting this thing in cinema mode. It's like, that I just love that depth of field. It's feeling more
crazy.
DSLR like.
And are you changing it? You can edit it how you want it within.
Yes, later. Yeah, and then I have one of these, like the Osmo. They have a 5 now. This is the 4. So the 5 is out now.
Yeah. So the stabilization is insane. You don't need a gimbal. Like I posted a video when we went to the fair last week, and I had like 9 comments on that video. It was like, tell me you're using a gimbal,
like, when I'm trying
and
to
I'm
do,
like, nope.
When I'm trying to do those things, like like a sweeping shot, like on a like on the candle, and you can do rack focus on that. So like tapping, it's nice when I have it on here because you could tap it on the candle, and like the sign's coming up, so tap it on the candle, rack focus to that. So like this way, you're not like hitting the thing. If you're
trying to hold,
yeah.
I agree. That's something that I need to kind of work with.
But I'm just waiting for the apps to catch up or let Apple use cinema mode. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Honestly, you're better off just shooting just straight camera and then maybe editing it in like an editing software, or just like editing it straight on the Instagram app or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I use Reel. I like the last one I did for the Reel. I shot it all on here, and then I went into the Reel and did it. But
yeah,
I mean, I haven't tried Spark Camera, but the fact that you can do that and edit it later, but
Spark is insane. Spark, I think they updated it.
Oh,
They did, because Spark's big thing about their app is they use your camera to the best of its ability, and it made like when you're shooting with Spark, even on an 11 or a 12. It brought out the best in the camera. One of the crazy things with this is, Jeff, is like I was sitting at an event, corporate event I was doing last Friday, and I was taking a picture. We got in early. They fed us breakfast. So I was sending a picture to like Peter or somebody, and there was a QR code on the screen, 19 rows in front of me on a projector screen, and I'm taking a picture of my food right in front of me, and it read the QR code from that far away. Damn. And it's picking up like minor details from that far away with this camera, which blew my mind. Like, you go to a restaurant now and you're trying to find the menu, and you got to go right over it to get the QR code. Like, no, it's reading it from like way far away, which is insane. So, well, guys, we're almost done with our time. I want to thank our guest this week, Justin the DJ, for taking some time and being with us. Thank you, Justin. Again, if you guys are not following any of us, please hit our follows. We'll go around the room one more time, let everybody tell you where you can find them at and where you can follow them at, and any last final thoughts that you got. Justin, go.
Justin the DJ, anywhere, essentially. Some platforms have a period, underscore, whatever they let me do, I guess. I don't know. Apparently, wherever I go, straight up Justin the DJ is taken, so I'm just kind of screwed. So, but yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for today is making sure that keeping up with your content, regardless of what platform you're doing, TikTok, Instagram, if your stuff's on Twitter or YouTube or all that kind of stuff, keep up with it. Don't go months at a time without posting your stuff. Even if you don't have a post, maybe keeping up with, maybe doing a story every other day minimum, and then like maybe 1 or 2 posts a week on Instagram or something like that, because your couples are stalking you when they're thinking about booking you as a DJ. They're going to look at your Instagram, say, wow, he hasn't posted anything since July. Is he even a DJ anymore? Like, what is he doing? So just keeping up with your stuff. And I think it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a crazy DSLR. You don't have to have Lightroom app on your computer and edit every photo. You don't have to go crazy. Just take some photos. If it's good, if it's okay, it's perfectly fine to post it, and showcase what you have to offer to your clients, and they're going to really appreciate that.
For sure.
Nice. Thank you, Justin. Jeff, what you got?
I defer all my time back to Justin.
I can keep talking if you want.
Yeah, so I'm Jeff Scott Gould. I'm pretty much everything. I guess biggest takeaway for me is that Spark camera app. I'm gonna have to try it out now.
Yes.
So now I'm gonna add another one too. How many pages do I have on my phone now? I don't know. There's like 45 dots at the bottom, so I'll just add it to another one. But yep, I'm gonna try that one. That's all I got.
Cool. You guys can find me at DJ Nate Nelson everywhere, all across the world, all platforms. My biggest takeaway is just like Justin said, guys, stay up to date with your content. I think the biggest takeaway that Justin just said is if you haven't posted anything since June or July, your clients are going to be questioning whether you're working today, whether you're busy, and they want someone that is a true professional, that is continuing to keep their stuff up to date, but also continuing to work, continuing to see new things, try new trends. So don't be afraid to say what up, Graham fam. Don't be afraid to talk to your phone. Don't be afraid to post pictures, post content. And if you have questions on editing video, if you have questions on editing photos, YouTube is a wonderful tool to learn how to do these things.
I got my degree because of YouTube. So
Yeah, you
definitely recommend checking that out.
YouTube needs to have like a YouTube university degree that you can get for like, oh, I learned how to edit video or photo, or I learned how to live stream during COVID via YouTube. Like, if you want to learn something, go to YouTube. You can definitely learn how to do it. But guys, we thank all of you guys for sticking around today. We will be back in 2 weeks. Next week, you can be looking out for the girls on the DJ discussion, Kristen Wilson, and those girls will be holding it down every other week. We switch places with them, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll have Jordan back, and maybe Justin can make another appearance on the show. Maybe. So, yeah. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, tag QSC in your pictures at QSC Audio. Use the hashtag QSC Audio, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.